Everyone has moments in life they can't just stop thinking about. They can be embarrassing things, like that one time you face planted in front of a group of teenagers, or something amazing like the first time you hosted your family for the holidays. And on Baby, This is Keke Palmer, hosted by me, Keke Palmer, and presented by BMW, we know to savor the good memories and let go of the bad. And one thing everyone remembers fondly is their first time behind the wheel of a BMW. So come join me and BMW this summer as we explore pop culture moments and topics you just can't stop thinking about on Baby, This is Keke Palmer, sponsored by BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
What is The Briefing Room? It's a behind-the-scenes look at how the criminal justice system works and the lives of the people within that system.
If you love true crime, well, these are the real people who do the job every day of making sure justice is served.
Hi, I'm Detective Dave.
I'm Detective Dan. Together we have decades of experience in local law enforcement, a profession that we think is often misunderstood.
So we're going to explore how to do it right, and we won't shy away from when it's done wrong. These are stories you'll hear nowhere else. Unique, frank, and unvarnished.
From the team that brought you Small Town Dicks, this is The Briefing Room. Episode 1 drops on August 30th.
We'll meet you in the briefing room.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.
And welcome back to Little Cuts, our weekly mini-sode where we dig into the things that we've been watching and reading and playing recently. I'm Terry.
And I'm Mary Beth. We're back. Hooray.
We're back.
Yay. This week we're chatting about books, nights, a Fantasia exorcism, a Crow-tacular video game, and Adam Effing Scott on a motherfucking jet ski.
Yeah.
Before we start, I just want to say thank you to everyone for reaching out and being very kind and very flexible with me as I dealt with some family stuff. You guys are the best, and I really appreciate it. Back to normal, whatever that means now, but fuck that means. But yeah, I appreciate you guys so much, and of course, appreciate Terry.
Oh well, friends. How do we do things?
I don't know.
I think this might be the longest break that we've kind of had.
It is the longest break. Thank you, trauma.
Yeah, trauma.
Woo! This is the longest we've gone on a break for almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, a very sudden break.
Yes. So we appreciate everyone for being so cool with me.
With us. We're in this together. And I'm also moving. And so my mind has not been here either. Completely different, but it's just
fun how life is I don't know, here you have 6,000 different things happening at once.
Yeah.
I quit my job, guys. I quit my job on top of everything else. So it's going great.
But more about that soon.
Yes, I can't talk about what's going next yet, but soon. But what we can't talk about are movies.
Yes, we sure can.
And books.
Nice transition.
Woo!
All right, so what have you been reading recently?
Okay, so I have finally been reading Grady Hendrix. I was late to the game on him. I don't know why. I've only heard great things, but I just was late. But now I am reading The Final Girl Support Group, his latest book that just came out, and it is very, very good. I
enjoying
really
it?
like it? I really am enjoying it. So Grady Hendrix wrote My Best Friend's Exorcism, The Southern Book Club's Guide for Slaying Vampires, Horror Store, I think, too. But yeah, so those are... I haven't read any of those, but I'm going to now because this one is about basically final girls who survived murders and have lived on, and they have formed a support group together to deal with their trauma, their PTSD after the fact. And it's really fucking cool the way he deals with like slashers and what they are and how they act, like how these slasher villains exist in the real world and like how those actual events inspired like slasher franchises, and how it was like all of these slasher franchises are now based off of real events, like more explicitly. And it's really fascinating to like look at the effect of celebrity on the final girl and like what it means to be a final girl outside of the events. And it's really, really good.
How far are you into it?
Like 75%.
Okay.
So I'm
cool.
like, have you read it?
I got about halfway through and I got sidetracked with another book.
Oh,
so
that's fair.
I'm like halfway through it.
I was reading, and then the thing happened with my family, and then I was like, I can't read anymore. But I started reading it, and I read like almost all of it in like 2 days. I was ripping through it. I thought it was really good.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I'm enjoying it from what I remember. I was a little, I don't know. There was like a little side plot where they decide to go rescue someone from a hospice, and I wanted them to like get on with the plot.
I was a little bit, I guess the one thing that did bother me a little bit was how closely they are related to like Nightmare on Elm Street. Like you can it's like so obvious, and it's a little silly, I think. I'm like, okay, like that's obviously Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's obviously Friday the 13th.
That's obviously Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Exactly. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know. That to me was a little silly. I was like, this is just like, you could have maybe done something a little different. That was that threw me off a little bit, I think, in terms of like trying to get into it.
Yeah.
It felt almost like it was trying to rip those off instead of make something new, if that makes sense. I still really enjoy it. I just, that part kind of like made it a little bit, takes me out of it a little bit when like they have like the reviews of like the interstitial chapters that are like reviews of movies or like listing the franchises and stuff. Yeah,
and I've been listening to it, so my experience is probably a little bit different because I've been listening to an audiobook being read by a former final girl herself, Adrienne King, who was in the original Friday the 13th.
Whoa, that's cool as hell.
Yeah. So she's reading it. She's doing a really good job. I really like the voice that she brings to it. It's just I think because of I feel like there's a difference when you're reading a book than when you're listening to it a lot of times. And so I think some of the parts that like the kind of trip to the hospice and the trip to this and that, I'm just like, because it's being read to me and I can't sort of maybe skim the parts that I would probably like read quickly through.
Okay.
It kind of sticks out a little bit more, if that makes sense.
No, that does make sense. I get that. But this has inspired me to read more of his books, and I'm going away this weekend. So I think I'm going to read the Southern Book Club's Guide for Slaying Vampires next.
Heard good things about that one.
So have I. And it's vampires.
Who doesn't love vampires?
But what is this Fantasia exorcism movie? I think I know what this is, and I'm excited to chat about it.
Yeah, so I think I can consider myself a Mickey Reese fan at this point.
Okay.
So it's the film Agnes, and I know you've seen it. I know we kind of have different opinions on it.
Yeah.
This was not at all what I was expecting, so he directed Climate of the Hunter, and that I saw like in 2019, and I really loved it. It was so bizarre and weird.
I really like that one too. There's a lot of Jell-O. A lot of Jell-O molds.
Oh, so much focus on food. And that continues a little bit in this. And I love the idiosyncratic way that he films things. And so this one is a take on like possession in a nunnery. And it has the actor that played the vampire in Climate of the Hunter is the priest in here, and I love him. I love this guy so much.
Yeah, he's really good. I like his performances in both quite a bit.
The first half is kind of like just a weird comedic kind of take on like exorcism, where it's sort of is taking the kind of tropes that we expect and sort of takes them in odd directions. Like, of course, the priest is sort of like he doesn't really believe in exorcisms, and he might have been a pedophile.
I don't know, Terry. Maybe. What the fuck was that? Sorry, that part really bothered me. I was like, what? Like, you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, but it was very funny. It was very quick moving. And then it takes a turn and goes into a drama. And it sort of becomes like what happens after the exorcism? And I think this is where a lot of people are going to get lost on this movie because the
Myself
change
included.
is immediate. And it completely, the pace of the film slows down. It becomes a very... Misu has thoughts.
Can I help you?
And we're back.
Back. That thing says Scarface is back like Misu having an opinion. Anyway.
But yeah, so it takes like a dramatic change and the pace slows down. It becomes sort of, we're following one of the nuns after this exorcism, trying to re-establish herself in secular life. And I really liked it. I cannot tell you exactly why I liked it. I'm having a hard time writing this review. And I completely will understand if people do not like it. But for me, this was a really good movie. I love his use of dialogue. Mickey Reese writes really good dialogue. And there were some conversations, especially towards the end, that I was like, I am loving what is being said. I'm not 100% sure what you're trying to get at here, but I love what is being said. And I loved it.
That's so funny because the dialogue really annoyed me. Just like, shut up.
I loved it.
Like, and I really liked Clement of the Hunter, and it's a similar vibe. Like, it's a lot of weird conversations between weird people who are just like kind of bizarre. But this, I don't know. I think it was the tonal shift for me, the really intense tonal shift, which I like. I didn't dislike this film, and I think it's really gutsy, and I really admire it. I think what he does, even if it doesn't work for me, I think is really, really impressive, and is like, you know what? Fuck yeah. Like, just change. The movie changes, and like, I thought I missed something. I was like, did I look away? Because it changes so quickly. And I do really like that. And I think there's something really interesting going on in that last half. I think it's a little bit too slow. And I think some of the dialogue is like, why? But still, I greatly respect it. And I think it's hilarious, especially the exorcism. Like, like that. But the first half is the most batshit exorcism thing I've ever seen. It's so good. There's a scene where they're all like, it's all of the clergymen sitting around a table with like all of these taxidermy animals, and in between, there's a taxidermy lion just sitting at the table with all of them. And it's just the most ridiculously like. It's like a perverted Wes Anderson almost. Like it has like a taste of whimsy, but like a really gross one where it's like really silly, but like fucked up and dark. And I really like that. I like that vibe a lot. That vibe goes away, I think, a little bit more
Oh, it completely goes away.
The last half, it goes away. I mean, for the love of Christ Almighty, 1 second. Steve's taking a nap, so I myself have to do this. The door is open. You can open it.
This is more fun.
But yeah, I guess the tonal shift is really good. It's like on paper, it's really interesting. I just don't think it worked for me.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I understand. You know, if anyone
weird.
says that they didn't like this movie, I completely understand. And I don't honestly know why I liked it, but it just
like I can see why, because like I want to like it. Like I really do, because I think he is doing some crazy shit. And I really appreciate that. He's just like, I don't know, you think this is going to be a possession movie? Sorta. And I love that he plays with genre like that, like with Clement of the Hunter. It's like a play on the vampire. So, I mean, like, I think you should check it out. If you're going to Fantasia or covering Fantasia, you have a pass, whatever, you should check it out. Like, it's pretty cool.
What I really like and admire about him is that when a scene starts, I do not know where it's going to go.
Exactly. You never know.
There's something exciting about that. I mean, I was thinking about this recently as I was watching a couple movies that are coming out that I don't know if I could talk about yet or not, where it's like I'm watching this movie and I'm like, okay, I know what the next scene is going to be. I know what the next plot point's going to be, and I could map it out in my mind. Whereas here, I'm like, I don't even know what's going to come out of these characters' mouths in the next line, let alone what the next scene is going to be. And there's something, I don't know, there's something really cool about that, where someone that has watched so many movies over the course of 40 years, and there's a movie that I'm like, I do not know what is going to happen next. And I love that. And I think that might be why this movie worked for me.
No, I get that. I really do. And it's true. I did not know what was going to happen, but
no. Okay, so Knights.
So speaking of things I did not know what was going to happen, I saw The Green Knight this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
In theaters. It was lovely.
Was it?
It was. So it's not what everyone has been saying this. It's not what the trailer looks like. It's not this like super badass fantasy epic where he like fights dragons and monsters. It's actually this very tender, contemplative movie about mortality and masculinity and what it means to be a man, which is what the poem, like what the original poem, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, is very much about that. And David Lowery really takes that and puts it into a beautiful movie about growing up, being kind of an idiot, like a young idiot trying to figure your stuff out. And it's Dev Patel is the best, like pure intentions, but kind of a bumbling idiot, like immature boy. He plays it so well. And it's lush. Like it is beautiful to behold, which is not any surprise with the David Lowery movie.
Right. And also, I mean, the guy that did some of the effects, we talked to him.
Yeah,
Nicholas Ash
exactly.
Batesman.
Yes. The effects in this, like in The Green Knight, Jesus, are gorgeous. And there's a lot of really cool practical effects. Like the Green Knight himself is all like practical.
Oh, cool.
And so there is a really awesome like mix of practical and computer generated effects in a way that like it just looks like it all melds together to create this really cool world that looks like Earth, but also has like this magical twinge to it. And so it's like a melding of all of these stories of like Arthurian legends, but it's really, really good. It's got this like really awesome, like really beautiful look at like masculinity and and like the power of the feminine, and the feminine as like a caring energy and like versus the masculine energy, but then also the nuances of that about like, okay, this divide between man and woman, but like clouding that line and not making it so clear cut. And I don't know, it's really good.
I'm excited.
It's a little slow.
Yeah.
But I think it's not. I think it's needed. I think this wouldn't have the right emotional impact if it was a quicker edited, quicker paced film.
Okay.
In my opinion.
I'm excited to watch that one. I really want to see it. I love Dev, and the look of the film just looks great.
Did you enjoy like Arthurian legend stuff when you were studying English? Was that like your thing? Okay.
I mean, I grew up watching like Excalibur and watching like a lot of that early fantasy stuff. So like this is scratching an itch that I desperately want to go see, because I love that shit.
Well, then you're really going to appreciate it, because it really does it is like an homage to that kind of to the Arthurian legend in a really cool way. That's not like Arthurian legend, but like it makes it cool and modern, which is a really weird way to say it, because like it obviously takes place like in that time period, but the way it's filmed and the performances and just like the way it looks still makes it feel modern and very just fascinating. And there's some really interesting comedic moments that I really like, and some like kind of homoerotic moments that I really like, and there's jizz. It's a lot.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, there's as someone said on Twitter, a cheeky gay kiss.
I did hear about that. Yeah.
It's not. It's a good kiss. I wish it was a little bit more like consensual.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't feel as like, oh, it's a gay kiss, because it's kind of like a guy like, I want to kiss you, and then Gowan's like, don't do that again. Like. It's not as fun when that's kind of the vibe around it. It's not like a cute little gay kiss. It's more just like, ugh. I digress. I adore this movie. A24 continues to just have me in their back fucking pocket.
Oh, same.
Fucking assholes. They just No, what I want. The demographic in the movie theater was exactly what you would think. It was so many film bros. I was like, film Twitter is here. I sensed them all. I was by myself because I wanted to go by on solo.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was a film bro. It was incredible. It was incredible.
Awesome.
Anyway, that is the Green Knight, but a crotacular video game.
Hell
what
yeah.
the hell is this?
This might be the best game that I've played this year.
Oh, I saw tweets about this. I want to hear.
Yeah, so I played and finished in like a week's time Death's Door.
Okay, I don't believe I've heard of this one.
So it's published by Devolver Digital, and they publish a lot of like really kind of sometimes weird indie kind of games, but they always make very intriguing games, or they publish intriguing games. And this particular game is like people have been comparing it to like Dark Souls meets like old school Zelda. And I can kind of get the Dark Souls-esque thing because it's difficult. It's not exceedingly difficult. No, it's not.
Okay.
It's like a Zelda game. It reminds me of playing like the earlier like top-down Link to the Past type Zelda games. It's very difficult. It's not impossibly difficult, and I don't think the difficulty matches the level of like a Souls-like or a Dark Souls or a Bloodborne or whatever, but it is hard. But you're basically playing a crow that works for some bureaucratic death company that sends the crows out as reapers to go collect souls. And there's this door that has been locked called the Death's Door, and you are trying to go get these 3 giant souls and open up Death's Door and see what's on the other side. Ooh. And so it's like you kind of you get weapons, you get spells that kind of allow you to access different parts of it. It's very Zelda like. You go to an area and there's some things that like you need a bomb to explore, but you don't have a bomb, so you have to come back to later. The art style is really cute. It's very whimsical, but it also has kind of a minimalistic vibe to it, and there's some really odd whimsical things in it. There's like a man that is he works at like a cafe and he serves you food, but he also has a squid attached to them, and as you look closer to him you see that his eyes are hollowed out and the squid is basically puppeting him.
Oh my god. Wait, that's incredible.
And one of the bosses is this old woman that has turned everyone into pots, and she turned her own son into a pot, and he has like a soup pot for his head, and he offers you soup out of his head at one point. So it's very odd, and it's very whimsical, and it's very wonderful.
That's incredible. This looks like Over the Garden Wall a little bit. Have you ever watched that?
I haven't, no, but I've heard great things about it.
Yeah, it's got that whimsical, creepy vibe to it, and I fucking love it. I love everything about this game, and it took me 12 hours to complete. I 100%ed it, so it's not an overly long game. I think it's the perfect length for it. I will say that if you are going to play this game, one of the major mechanics is finding seeds and then planting them in pots, and those give you like health, like little health pots around the level. I would recommend whenever you come across one to either memorize where it's at or put a seed pot in it, because after you've beaten the game, quote unquote, it continues onward, and that is one of the tasks. You have to go back and find all 50 pots and put flowers in, and that was a little bit of a chore, I will say, by the end of it. So I would recommend, but it's a wonderful game. It's hard, but it's not impossible, and it made me so happy. I loved it. I want to play it.
It's only on Xbox and PC right now. I don't know if it's going to come out elsewhere later, but it's really good.
Well, maybe I'll just watch someone. I'll probably watch one of my favorites play it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Cool. Oh, it's so pretty. Now I'm just looking at like obsessed with the graphics. Oh,
the art style is so gorgeous. It
pretty.
Has that sort of it's like almost a minimalistic vibe to it, but it's also like incredibly beautifully animated and with such characters that have so much life to them.
Yeah, it's like minimalistic, but it's like it looks like the kind of style that would be 2D, but it's actually like beautifully shaded 3D like renderings and designs, which is really cool. Wow. Cool. So
Now that we've kept everyone waiting for like a few weeks.
Weeks.
What are we
talk about?
What are we talking about, Mary Beth?
We're going to talk about our transition from aughts remakes into aquatic horror with Alexandra Aja's Piranha from 2010.
I have to say that this is the first time I've seen it out of the movie theater. I went to go see it in 3D in the movie theater, and let me tell you, there are some scenes in this movie that were so great in 3D that, like, I don't know, they sort of lost a little bit of the allure in watching it in 2D.
One of those scenes include when the piranha coughs up the dick?
Yes, where the piranha like eats the dick and then regurgitates it, and it is literally just floating along in the screen. And just imagine being in the theater and that image is projected so big, so large, just floating in the middle of the screen. Just like, yeah. What did you think of the munching on the penis?
I wanted this movie to be a parody so badly of, and like not even a critique, but just like a making fun of spring break culture. I don't think it was. I think it thought it was, but it wasn't making fun of it. And you told me this, and it's true. It's the straightest movie I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah.
There's so many titties.
So many titties.
Like, I was trying to think about how to talk about this movie today, and I was like, I don't even know, because I loved it and hated it at the same time. Like, I thought this movie was so incredible. It is so stupid. It is so horny. It is so gory. It is everything I've ever wanted in a campy horror gory film. Like, it is the perfect stupid horror movie.
It has Adam Scott with a shotgun on a jet ski.
It's got Adam Scott with a shotgun on a jet ski. It's got ridiculous piranhas. It's got ridiculous like sex references from everybody. Like there's Eli Roth talking about tatas and Charlie in the Chocolate Factory when spraying a woman's ass with a water gun, which is repulsive. It's just body shots. Jerry O'Connell in a Speedo. I mean, it is just, I think it feels like it's supposed to be a joke, but I don't know if it is. I can't tell, like, if it's supposed to be a joke or not. I think it's a joke.
I think it is, but it also, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to talk about this film. Just like you said earlier, it's like been on the back of my mind this entire time. It's like, are we making fun of this, or are we like celebrating it? I don't know. Like, it's a movie in which Ving Rhames rips a propeller off of a boat and uses it like a fish weed whacker. It has a woman's hair getting stuck in a propeller and it just rips her fucking face off.
Christopher Lloyd is a mad fish scientist, fisherman, fish owner who is able to tell more things about the piranhas. I think it's a joke. I think.
Part of me, I desperately want it to be. I mean, because you have Jerry O'Connell saying, "Jake, they took my penis."
Like, I can't handle. And okay, my favorite moment is when they are like, she's paragliding. They're pulling her behind the boat, and she's like hang gliding, or it's like the parachute. And she's flipping around and her tits are just hanging out.
Just
I'm like,
hanging.
This is nothing. Nowhere is like this. Like, no, I have a friend from Lake Havasu, Arizona. It's party central, but I'm like 99% sure it is not titties out all the time forever. But my favorite was the underwater shot of her skimming the water and her boobs just like mushing around.
Oh.
It was incredible.
I know.
Like, again, I tweeted this. The male gaze, there is so much male gaze in this movie that
yeah.
it circles around and becomes a feminist text. And like, it is so egregious that it isn't anymore. It's ridiculous. Like, a fucking thing, I think it's a wire comes undone and cuts a girl in half, but not before snapping open her bikini top, and her tits are just out for everyone.
Yeah. I mean, the gore in this is fantastic. The effects in this are really good, minus some dodgy CGI. I was like the very opening scene where Richard Dreyfuss is in a boat singing, "I had a little drink about it." Now I'm like, okay, I get what you're doing. But then he throws the bottle over and it's like a CG water bottle that is like CG floating through CG water until it creates a CG earthquake. And I'm like, boy, that does not look good.
No.
But the gore.
I was actually kind of like, whoa, this is kind of fucked up. At like the massacre when the piranhas just massacre like all of the teens and the college students. I was like,
that one girl who gets pulled in half while they're trying to help her and her body just like, I was like, ooh.
It's like watching, okay. It's like the Band of Brothers opening scene where they're all crawling onto the beach.
Yes.
It's like that, but with drunk college students with their tits out.
I have to say that this movie had a lot of extras. Like, I was surprised at how big this movie was, like, in terms of the cast. Like, you have a fantastic regular cast in here. I mean, Elizabeth Shue, love her. Christopher Lloyd, as you said. Stephen McQueen, the son of the McQueen from, like...
Who's he in this movie?
He was Jake. He was the cutie patootie boy.
Oh!
Yeah, he is, like, I think is it the grandson?
Oh, wow.
Of Steve McQueen? I think it's the grandson.
Paul Scheer's in it?
Yeah, right? Random. Ving Rhames, Jerry O'Connell, Richard Dreyfuss, like, great cast.
It is and that's the thing. Like, it looks like everyone had a good time because it's so fucking crazy. And like people are just getting ripped apart. At one point, Jerry O'Connell like is alive, top half, and saying they got my penis, but like it's skeleton legs. That's my favorite of this whole movie is when people like have been eaten to the bone. And they just have like skeleton arms. It's not funny, but like it's a little funny.
No, it's very funny. I was laughing a lot in this movie, and then of course, because of course it does. There's a random shot of just silicone implants floating in the water after someone gets eaten.
Silicone implants, of course. A lot of it. That's it. I mean, okay. Obviously, this is not winning any awards for any kind of like feminists, like revolutionary. But the number of women versus men, like obviously both men and women are devoured, but like the women in this movie are really just put on display in every which way, and it's really gross.
Yeah.
And again, like it's like okay, it comes to a point where like okay, haha, titties, tatas, everyone shaking their milk jugs everywhere. But when you start like really killing women over and over again for having their tits out, it's not really funny anymore. It's like okay, we gotta no more. Stop it. I know it's 2010. I get it, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But yet I still had fun watching it.
I still did too, because it's like, okay, I see that and I recognize it, but at the same time, I'm like, can I really be that mad in a movie that literally just wants to have people like women running, like flapping their boobs everywhere and like giant mutated piranhas? Like, I can't be that mad. I had a great time. I thought it was really funny and really gross.
So apparently, I have not seen the sequel because there's a Piranha 3 Double D.
Ah, yes, Double D.
Of course, there is.
Cool.
And apparently a fish goes out of a woman's vagina in it. So that's in the sequel. Yeah. Silence.
Okay. Just trying to like... All right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I just like, that's all I have. I don't have anything else about that piece of information. I also just want to give a big old fucking shout out to Adam Scott as an action hero in this movie.
I know.
Incredible. It is not talked about enough.
No.
I love him. And Elizabeth Shue's the cop, right? The mom cop. Mm-hmm. When she runs across the boats to the speedboat, I was like, we need more of her. I wanted it to be her whole movie.
Me too.
I honestly did not give a shit about the porno boat. I wanted it to be all about her being a badass cop. Like, she was so good. Like,
she was great.
ACAB, everybody, but she was cool to watch. Like,
she
when she just walking right across those boats, I was like, bitch, where was this energy the whole time?
Just run across like a motherfucker, tasers a motherfucker. Like,
she's great. I love her.
You.
She's like,
I wanted more of her and Adam.
Right? Oh, what a good buddy. Oh, that was such a good. But yeah, like, again, it's not a good movie, but it's so fun. It's just so dumb. It's great.
It's so dumb.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a great way to end an era of talking about remakes and starting our journey through aquatic horror.
What is our next aquatic horror film?
Okay, so next Friday we're going to be talking about 1977's Orca, which I have never seen, but I've heard so good things about. From what I understand, the Orca is like the hero of the movie.
Oh, yes. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
So I mean, there's a lot of movies from that era are obviously Jaws ripoffs, but like some of them, from what I understand, are really good. Like it's the reason why we got the original Piranha, and it's Orca and Alligator, which is another movie I'm excited to talk about soon. But yeah, Orca, really excited to finally watch this movie.
Yeah, and as a reminder to everybody, we are watching aquatic horror movies that don't have to do with sharks, correct?
Yeah.
So if you have any suggestions for other ones we should watch, let us know. I'm super stoked. I forgot, like, in watching Piranha, it's not scary, but I forgot. I really, in this movie, I was like, damn, water is scary as shit. Like when they're trying to crawl over this rope between the two boats, like the water really is terrifying. And I'm just super excited to like watch more aquatic horror and like really look at the ocean. Oh, the ocean scares the shit out of me and I'm obsessed with it. So
Same. So who are we talking to on Monday, though, Mary Beth?
Oh my goodness. So on Monday, we are talking to Matt Monagle from Certified Forgotten, among many other things, about Tremors 2.
Tremors 2.
And y'all, I never thought that I would meet someone who loved Tremors 2 so much, and also who could talk this much about Tremors 2. It is incredible how much Monagle loves
Mic
this
drop.
movie.
There was a mic drop at this point where it's like I never even considered the depth that he was talking about in terms of like some of the kind of intricate plotting in this movie. I was not prepared for that.
It is incredible. Like you.
He's a great guest.
I was fully ready to go and like, oh yeah, this is like a goofy sequel. Monagle brings in like, no, here's my very, very poignant, amazing analysis about masculinity in this movie. And I'm like, what? So everybody, it's a treat. It's very cool.
It is a treat.
Oh, I forgot how to do the outro. Okay. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Listeners, you've heard from us. Finally. We want to hear from you. Did you watch one of these films and want to share your opinions about it? Do you have a suggestion for an aquatic horror movie that we should talk about? Send us an email at scarredforlifepodcast@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us directly on Twitter. I am at MB McAndrews.
And I'm at Gaily Dreadful.
And of course, don't forget to follow the podcast on Twitter at Scarred Podcast.
And please do not forget to review, rate, and subscribe. We've had a couple that have popped. We had in July, so we have had some, but we'd always love some more. It keeps us going.
Please, as a treat to me, I've had a bad couple of weeks. Give it to me. Thank you. Using my trauma to manipulate the audience. Obviously a very good tactic. Thank you to Eric Power for our artwork. Thank you to Sean Keller for our music. Thanks everybody for listening. Please stay safe out there. But most importantly, stay creepy.
And until next time.
You miss me, bitch.
Somebody please think of the children. Somebody please think of the children. Somebody please think of the children.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
What is The Briefing Room?
It's a behind-the-scenes look at how the criminal justice system works and the lives of the people within that system.
If you love true crime, well, these are the real people who do the job every day of making sure justice is served.
Hi, I'm Detective Dave.
I'm Detective Dan. Together, we have decades of experience in local law enforcement, a profession that we think is often misunderstood.
So we're going to explore how to do it right, and we won't shy away from when it's done wrong. These are stories you'll hear nowhere else. Unique, frank, and unvarnished.
From the team that brought you Small Town Dicks, this is The Briefing Room. Episode 1 drops on August 30th. We'll meet you in the briefing room.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.